kiss you.
Thanks, Joe.
Yeah! You want to run or you want to duck down? You want to duck, just go over and get onto the bench and stay there.
You play to win the game.
My message for the fans, we're all frustrated with where we are right now.
Jets, Jets.
Jets. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Thursday thick of it. I'm GreenBean. I'm happy that you guys are here. We're going to have some fun tonight. Well, maybe. We'll see if Gunny can make it. He's in somewhat of a tenuous situation. Gunny, you okay down there in Texas?
I mean, I'm good, man. This storm thing gets a little ridiculous every now and again, but we're in the middle of freaking, hurricane season, storm season. And for some reason, of all the years that I've been here, you would think Texas would have figured out a way to go ahead and secure the power grid. So whenever the wind blows, the power doesn't go out. We're asking for too much. They haven't figured that part out yet. So we're still in the freaking olden times when blowing of the wind will take out your power. So bear with me. You already saw a little snippet of that earlier before we jumped on. Hopefully it's that quick if it happens again.
Yeah, we were chatting before the stream. I was telling him a story, and then I was alone. I was like, oh, there he goes. Hope he makes it back. But so we'll make do tonight. We hope Gunny's and everybody down there is okay. Hopefully you make it through the show, but that's the smallest of the potatoes in the grand scheme of things. So if not, I'll just talk to myself stare at my own face all night. Look at the chat.
It's a beautiful face, GreenBean. It's a beautiful face.
Oh, shucks. Thank you. Well, we are happy to be here, man. As you guys know, this is OTA season. We got a lot of dramatization of the good and the bad. Aaron Rodgers, Kenny Yeboah in the news. Finally, since 2021, I've been waiting for some Kenny Yeboah news. I got some. We got some Kenny Yeboah news coming up. We have a signing at this point in the season is always fun, so we can talk about that tonight. We will get it started by saying hello to Jay-Z, Jets fan, kicking this thing off. It's always nice to have Jay-Z here. If he's not first, he's last. So there he is. He's first tonight, and that's good to see. We got Tommy Anderson in the house. Good to see you, buddy. Todd's here. Howdy to you. Where are you saying howdy? Maybe he's next door. Maybe that's your neighbor, Todd. Maybe. Howdy. He's like, all right. Maybe he lives in
power.
Yeah. Maybe he's over there in Fort Worth saying howdy. A little, well, that's Dallas. That's not you.
That's probably Dallas. Yeah, that's probably more like Dallas.
Yeah. Right. Greg Rallo. What's up? Good to see you, man. Yeah, just hanging out. Scott Wilson's here. Rich is in the house. Daniel Berry Sports Highlights is here. Happy Thursday to you, Daniel Berry. And promote your show. I hope everybody loves the Daniel Berry Sports Highlights show. Mess is in the house. Good to see you, buddy. Nick Rousseau is back. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Where else would we rather be? I have some, I don't want to say big news, but I have news tonight that I'll let everybody know. I didn't even tell Gunny yet. So I'll tell everybody at the same time. I'm pregnant, Gunny. Me.
Hey, okay. I mean, hey, listen, it's 2024. You can be apparently
you never know, right? Well, I identify as pregnant, so there it is. That's not what the news is, but I'll tell you guys in a little while. Sean McAteer is here. Rich is in the house saying, "What's up, Gunny?" There he is. All right, man.
What's up, Rich?
Morning Woody. That's a great name. I like that.
That was very creative. And I love the freaking picture too.
Yeah, it's good. It's like a triple play. You know what I mean? It's a triple play on words. Mitt Flair in the house. Good to see you. Flight Rights here. Love you guys. You guys are the best, man. Ant Jets is back. Our good friend Frankie from Flatbush gracing the airwaves or the chat waves with his presence. Good to see Frankie, of course. Frankie's dealing with snakes and lizards and shit. You don't know what's going on. Pittsburgh to Florida. Tough adjustment. Wish Frankie well down there. Andrew Gazanka's in the house. Right on, man. Good to see you. Who else? Pay Tua. I like that, Rich. That's good. Pay 100%. Tua, everybody.
Pay him. Pay the man.
Pay him. We'll start with that actually. And hello to everybody. I see Greg Rallo and my buddy Johnny's in the house. Good to see all you guys. But what do you think about the Dolphins giving Waddle a huge contract? You think it's good, bad? Is it what he deserves? What's your take on that one, Gunny?
I think Jalen Waddle is properly paid, and I say this because of this, right? I think if Jalen Waddle was to play out this season and he puts up another 1,000-yard season where he's double digit, yards per catch carry, he's getting 30+ mil as a free agent come next year. I think getting him for $28 million a year, you already know you kind of want to step away from Tyreek Hill. Maybe in the next year or two. It makes a lot of sense. You secure yourself a legitimate number one weapon. He's homegrown talent. I like Jalen Waddle. I think he's a stud. At $28 million a year, I think what's crazy about it is he's now I think the fourth or the fifth highest paid wide receiver, while Tyreek is the second, right? So you're talking about two top 5 wide receivers in terms of payouts, $60 million plus combined at that position group. You're starting to see what we're talking about in regards to Tua, right? Like, okay, so is Tua going to get paid or going to make him play on the 5th-year option? Like, what's going to happen with that? But in terms of the signing for Waddle, I think what they did was smart. You're going to lock him in at $28 million a year. I think total contract's going to be about $111 million if you count the 5th-year option that he'll still be on. So I think it was genius because you're seeing some individuals getting money that I don't think are on the level. I mean, what's his name from freaking Nico Collins just got $26 million per. And I don't think Nico Collins is even close to the caliber of a player as Jalen Waddle. Hell, I didn't even know Nico Collins played football before last year. And apparently he's been in the league for like 3 years. CJ Stroud apparently unlocked him. Yeah. So I don't think he rates that money. So at $28 million, Miami Dolphins got themselves a bargain. But I still want them to pay Tua. I want them to give Tua $60 million a year because without Tua, Waddle is useless.
There you go. We love Tua. It's a funny thing, these contracts, man. I mean, the NFL should raise the salary cap. The fact that quarterbacks take, in some instances, like 20+% of the entire cap. You got, 53 guys, and 20% is going to one. Like, it's just, I don't know. It seems crazy. Then wide receivers want $30 million. So it's just getting nuts. I mean, quarterbacks were $30 million just a couple of years ago.
Yep.
And now it's like already like, no, $50 million. I just, it's hard to get my brain around. So it's, I don't know, man. I don't know. I think Waddle's a stud though. You gotta pay a guy like that. You don't let him leave in the same way that I'm going to feel about Garrett Wilson. Like you don't let guys like that. Somebody's going to pay him. It has to be us. You know what I mean? Like, so you gotta do that stuff. Our buddy Boy Green in the house. So I was hanging out with Boy Green and Woody today. Woody. At 3 p.m. That was great. That was a good time. It happened fast. I only had 30 minutes, but it felt like 5. So it's so good to get some time with you, Boy Green. Truly, I mean that sincerely. That was a bunch of fun. So if you guys haven't checked that out yet, you can hop over to Boy Green's channel and see what we did. Because the great thing about YouTube is it's there for you. Watching when you can, you don't have to be there live. You can watch it later if you'd like. That's the great thing about it all. So yeah, man. So let's talk about the main thing tonight, and then we'll go from there. As we talked about on Boy Green's show earlier, man, I got something in my throat. It feels like a hair or something, Gunny.
Oh, that's annoying. I hate
you just can't get it,
Yep.
So Aaron Rodgers was seen at camp, sock off or socks. And everybody's a flutter. Everybody's nuts. Everybody's going crazy. The guy can't take. Why are you taking his socks off? So they're saying now that it's his non-Achilles leg, right? So now they're insinuating that the other leg is injured now.
Right.
Now, what I said to Boy Green is like, there was a trainer with him. So maybe we can just be aware of the optics a little bit, and maybe if he's going to take his socks off, we don't need a trainer to help him. What do you think?
Yeah.
Would that help if there's just Take your fucking
It
socks off.
would.
Like, man.
It would help. I saw that too, and I won't lie. The first time I saw it, I was at the office, freaking trying to do my job, and I see Aaron Rodgers with trainers, with shoes off, and I'm like, oh god. My mind, of course, goes to like, oh no, you're not doing this to us again, injury guys. You can't be. So of course I look into it. I'm watching the video and I'm like, man, my man got a blister and he's swapping out his socks, man. That I'm pretty positive that was a blister patch. The dude was cutting up to go ahead and put on the back of his heel. We know those very well in the Marine Corps from our freaking hikes when we had to change our socks. 8 out of 10 times we would have the freaking blister tape with us so that we can go ahead and put it on any kind of blisters that we got. That was a blister. But the fact of the matter is people ran with it. And of course, everybody's trying to get their clickbait and it became a big deal. So yes, I think in the future, it maybe in hindsight, we don't have the trainer run over there, you know what I'm saying, helping him take his freaking shoes off to do it. He's a grown man. He can go ahead and either do that himself or take him into the locker room and do it. Because again, it freaked us out. We had to go ahead and watch the video for ourselves and realize it was nothing. I don't think the trainer had to go help him do that, but relax, everyone. It was just a blister. He's fine.
Yeah.
Screw social media.
I'm telling you, it's a crazy world we live in, everybody, where a man takes his socks off and it's a big story. It just shows too, like, you know, you said the key word, which is clickbait. I mean, guys, everything is clickbait. And, you know, it's a funny thing. I see guys on Twitter that are obviously, they do it every day, you know, clickbait. There's a bunch of nothing and they make drama. And everybody replies to it. Like my stance, I don't jump in. Very, very rarely do I ever jump in because that's why they're doing it. They know if they get you pissed off, you jump in and say, you're an idiot or something like that, then that's the job well done. They've done it. And, you know, like these guys, like they're fucking taking his socks off. It's just the craziest thing to me. So you got to be careful out there. I mean, you know, we're making people like that money. I saw Dolphins fans and Bills, everybody's jumping on it. I got comments in my comment sections about, ha, 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 your guy's not even going to make it to the season. What am I going to do? Fucking, you know, reply and argue and every now and then I'll on my own channel, I'll reply a little bit more than Twitter, but it's a funny thing. And now let me ask you, are you concerned at all? Like realistically speaking, are you concerned at all about Aaron Rodgers making it through the season, making it to the season, any of that stuff? Like, are you concerned about the injury piece?
I think the concern I have more so is in line with the PTSD we have as Jets fans, right? We can't have anything nice. I know logically speaking, this is a guy who's only missed 2 seasons out of his 20 seasons playing in the NFL. He's not a guy who's notoriously injured. He played freaking just 2 years ago with a freaking broken thumb, so we know he's tough as nails, that he's able to go ahead and play through a season when he's banged up. But if I'm being honest, the fear factor, I guess the PTSD of it all is that we are Jets fans and we've been bitten and struck down so many times that on the back of my mind, I think it's a flutter. Like, man, what if he does get hurt? Like, what if it is an issue? And again, it's all about 40-year-old freaking Aaron Rodgers going into his 20th season. And I know we've seen Tom Brady freaking do it and played well into year 44, 45. But that's more the exception, not the rule. On average, you start to see a decline towards the late 30s, early 40s. But on the other hand, you see a lot of things happening that shouldn't be happening in terms of what medical science has allowed these athletes to be able to push their bodies more and more and more. So for me, I think logically speaking, no, I think Aaron Rodgers is going to be fine. He's going to play the entire season. There's nothing that we can look at that states otherwise, that he's going to be somebody we have to worry about getting injured again. However, the little, you know, Jets birdie on my shoulder is just like, yeah, but you're a Jets fan. So be prepared for the unexpected. So that's where I stand with it. But I think he's going to be healthy enough to play the entire season.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. Now, look, we got a 40-year-old quarterback. People are calling him 41. He's not 41, everybody. He won't be 41 until December.
I thought he was 39 to be 40.
No, he's 40. He's going to be 41.
41.
So he's 40, but he's not going to be 41 until December. We'll know damn well if he's 40 or 50 by December. You know what I mean? Like, we're going to know what we got by that time. But the thing is, we really have piss poor luck, let's call it, you know, evidenced by last year's foreplay shenanigans that we witnessed and endured. And the even more comical piece that we had got to watch Zach Wilson again for an entire season almost, it's just so, not being concerned, I think is difficult. But like I said on Boy Green's show earlier, he is what he is. Gunny just said it. The truth is, if you look at his whole entire career, he's been injured very, very little. An Achilles injury, I don't want to say it's a freak injury because that's not accurate, but it's not something that has to do with age. It's not something that has to do with endurance. It's just one of those things. Achilles pop. And when they do, you're done. It's just the way that it is. So he's 40 years old. He's coming off an Achilles injury, but he's one of the greatest quarterbacks in NFL history. And we have a team around him that, quite frankly, is stacked. Now, let's talk about that stackedness for a brief moment. We got Garrett Wilson, who is an elite wide receiver. Anybody saying otherwise is silly. Okay, now maybe he's not top 2, 3, but he's in the group. Right? Yep. He is elite. Breece Hall is one of, if not, Christian McCaffrey's a stud muffin, right? We know that. And there are other great young backs out there as well. Breece Hall's in the conversation for best running back in the league as well. All right. We got Agreed. Tyler Conklin, who's not, we're not going to talk about him as being, Travis Kelce or Kittle just yet. But he is a very, very good tight end who managed 700 yards or so with Zach. Okay. Yep. Same thing like with G-Dubs. He's got 2,000 yard seasons with the worst quarterback. It's crazy. So now you add to this, you got Mike Williams, is anybody going to argue he's a stud? The only issue with him is that he was injured last year for 14 games. That's the injury. That's the bugaboo. And it was my bugaboo. So I'm not going to minimize it now that he's a Jet. But the truth is he's an incredible talent. You add Malachi Corley to that. All right. Dude, we're loaded. And then Braylon Allen and Isaiah Davis. And I'll mention him, Izzy, which we don't know what he is yet, but he's young as shit. He has a season of NFL experience. So, dude, we are loaded. And then don't forget Jeremy Ruckert and Kenny Yeboah, who we'll talk about in a few minutes. Then you add, guys, the defense. What did we lose on this defense this year? You lost Al Woods, who was 37 years old or whatever he was. Okay, we liked him. But let's be clear here. Al Woods had 6 tackles last year. Okay? So let's not get it twisted. I liked Al Woods just like everybody else liked Al Woods. He was a good gap stuffer. He would clog it up and other guys would make tackles. So it's not, his tackles aren't his only value, but it's not irreplaceable output. You lost JFM, another one. He had 35 tackles. He played 55% of the snaps. He had 3.5 sacks. I like JFM too. The one thing with JFM that I liked was he wasn't spectacular, but he was solid. You knew what you were getting. He was like a Mike DeVito. Mike DeVito wasn't blowing anybody's doors off, but you knew he was going to give you 100%. He was average-ish, but he was solid. He was never going to suck for you. You know what I mean? And that's what JFM was. But again, replaceable. You lost Quentin Jefferson. Okay, so Al Woods, Quentin Jefferson, JFM, and the big one, in my opinion, Bryce Huff. Who do we replace them with? First-round pick Hassan Reddick, one of the best sack guys in the NFL. Now, older than Bryce Huff, of course. And if I had my choice, I would have kept Bryce Huff. That's the truth. But I'm delighted about that signing, Gunny. You know what I mean? The fact that we got Hassan Reddick, it cools my Jets a whole bunch over losing Bryce Huff. Now you replace Al Woods with Leaky Fotu, Javon Kinlaw, a first-round pick. He hasn't reached his potential yet, but he's young, man. He's going, what is he, year 4, year 5 at most? I forget. I think it might be year 4. Wait a minute, let me see. I gotta see here. Javon Kinlaw. Let me make sure. But Javon Kinlaw, with the rotation and the way that this defense is kind of like, in their words, set your ass on fire and just go. Dude, he's a penetrator. So this is his 5th year, right? So he had 4 years with the Niners, and this is his 5th year. Dude, he's young, man. Let me see how he's 26 years old. First round pedigree. Stick him in there. And then you got Leonard Taylor, who I think's making the roster, by the way, undrafted free agent. I also think Braden McGregor's making the roster. You got JJ. Don't forget, we have a first-round pick, Will McDonald, who's like been in the cupboard. You know what I mean? Ready to explode. So, like, dude, you could say those are losses, no doubt, but everybody else is here. You lost Jordan Whitehead. You replaced him with Chuck Clark and Isaiah Oliver. I mean, am I missing somebody, Gunny? Is this team not stacked around Aaron Rodgers?
It is stacked, 100%. I got into a back and forth with a Jets fan talking about how this is the most talented Jets roster I believe we've ever had. Of course, he disagreed. I think he said something about some 70s roster. And I was like, you know what? Let me rephrase that. In my lifetime, I believe this is the best Jets roster we've ever had in terms of from top to bottom. I don't see, you can argue the weaknesses, or again, we talked about the safety, and you want to see some depth pieces in the interior your offensive line. But in terms of the core of this roster, it's, again, you're seeing it being coveted as a top 5 roster, top 3 in some realms, the number 1 overall roster in the NFL by the eyes of the outsiders, right? Individuals evaluating. So it's not just Jets fans saying, it's not just content creators really hyping this up. You're seeing it across the board. And again, on paper, I really think it's top 3 at worst. On a bad day, it's a top 3 roster. If not this year, I really don't know when. Like, I was really thinking about that earlier today. If we don't make a move this year, like if we don't go ahead and take advantage of this year and potentially next year, I think this little 2-year window, I really have no idea when we'll be able to take advantage of it, because it's not easy to put this much talent on the field at the same time in today's NFL.
Yeah, man. Well said. Now, look, would I feel better if we had a guy with Aaron Rodgers level of talent and he was 27? Yeah.
100%. 100%.
I would. Yeah. I might feel a little better. You know what I mean? Like, to just be real. Like, we try to be real with each other. We're all friends in here. We can be real. But I think, like, I don't want to get, it's hard to not be tainted, to not have PTSD from this friggin' team. It's very difficult. But a guy taking his socks off in practice after throwing dart after dart after dart, looking good, moving well, takes his socks off. Maybe the trainer was there. He popped a blister on his heel. You know what I mean? Some shit like that. And we're going nuts. It doesn't sit well. It's like, it's not going to get me nervous. Now, if Aaron Rodgers has to walk off the practice field, I don't even want to say it. Well, you know what I mean?
Don't do that.
I'm going to, now,
we're not
how
putting
do you
that
feel about
into
this?
the ether.
Let's just, right, exactly. But how do we feel about our number 2 quarterback? Last year we had Zach and Tim Boyle backing up A-Rod. This year we got Tyrod Taylor. I mean, we got Jordan Travis, but he's not going to play at all this year, in my opinion. I mean, they say he might be ready during training camp, but I don't know. I mean, maybe, I don't know. I just don't know. But then we got this Peasley fella. But how do you feel about this group? Should Aaron Rodgers go down? Let's even say he goes down for 4 weeks. Like, how do you feel? How do you feel about what we've done behind him this year?
I think Tyrod Taylor, man, is night and day compared to what we had to deal with last year. Tyrod Taylor, I think, on this Jets roster last year probably freaking gets us 2 more wins. I'm a big fan of the guy. Tyrod Taylor, I know his release is a little bit slow at times and people get agitated about that, but this is a guy who has a positive touchdown to interception ratio. He's, I think, a perfect 500 in terms of win-losses. You really can't ask much from your backup freaking quarterback. This is a guy who's played in big games. He's got big game experience. He's beaten big teams. So he's got the high IQ. He's also a very mobile quarterback that can potentially buy some more time or, knock on wood, anything happens with the offensive line, can go ahead and create some aspects with his legs. But you know what you're not going to do with Tyrod Taylor behind center? You're not going to go ahead and disrespect the pass. like we saw last year consistently, where Brees Hall had to go ahead and face stack boxes. They pretty much double teamed Garrett Wilson because they just didn't believe that Zach Wilson or any other quarterback was going to be able to beat them with their arm. They're not going to do that with Tyrod Taylor behind center. And I think that's a plus, right? It's going to allow a more of an even playing field for the offense to still kind of maneuver. Now, we're going to need Rodgers back. I think this team can compete for the AFC East AFC championship, you know what I'm saying, with Aaron Rodgers. I think we're a playoff caliber competitor with Tyrod Taylor. But again, that's not a bad thing. You know what I'm saying? Once you're in the playoffs, anything can happen. I love the Tyrod Taylor acquisition. I thought that was genius. It was a must-have. And again, I would rather Jordan Travis not play at all this year, because if that happens, things have really hit the fan, and we should be in full panic.
We're in trouble.
Yeah.
I know. And it's not like, see, here's the thing. Like, as many of you already know, I'm a Jordan Travis guy, right? You know, not for nothing. Let me tell you guys a short story. So at the end of last year, like, I mean, pre the whole draft deconstruction, way at the end of the year, when we're kind of coming down, like Super Bowl's over, you know, like right around that time, Q-Tip called me, all right? And he goes, hey, you know what I just heard? The Jets want to draft Jordan Travis. And I said, oh, really? From Florida State? And he goes, yeah. He goes, and he told me, he goes, that's the guy I want. That's the guy I want. Like, I know it's early and the whole thing. And he says, but I'm hearing that the Jets want him too, because he's got his in. I got, we got our little ins with the team, right? But he heard, I said, okay, well, it's early, man. Let's see. Lots can happen. He said, I'm telling you, man, I hear they love him. Like, love him. So all the way back then, I'm like, let me dig in deep for Tyrod Taylor. Right. I mean, not Tyrod Taylor, for Jordan Travis. Yeah. Right then. And he was my guy the entire draft. I'm like, dude, if we can get this fucking kid, like, he's so talented to me. Now he's raw. He's got some, like Dom C says, he doesn't love his throwing motion. Okay, fine. But I honestly believe, like, taking him where we took him, having him on the roster for a couple of years, let him eat and breathe the system, know every player on the team, a comfort level with everybody. He's got the natural talent to come in that kind of a situation when he's ready, when he's ready, and be our quarterback. Like, I believe that. I know. I hear everybody. We've tried the 3rd overall pick, the 5th overall pick, the 2nd overall pick. The difference is we put the weight of the world on their shoulders and said, save us right now. And it didn't work. Having it, even though he's a 6th rounder as opposed to a 1st rounder. But so if we get to Jordan Travis this year, I believe he's got the talent, but I would hate to see it get to that, because we're going to ruin him too, Gunny. You know what I mean? Yeah. It would 100%. Destroy me. Now, are you buying it? Like, do I sound like a crazy person?
No. Listen, I've loved Jordan Travis, you know what I'm saying, since watching him play at FSU. I honestly thought, watching this kid play, he was going to go ahead and be at worst a 2nd round pick coming into this year's draft. I'm shocked he dropped this much due to the injury, which made me kind of wonder whether or not it was more egregious than they were letting on. But I think you can't go wrong taking a shot. I think it was a 5th rounder or a 6th rounder. I think it was a 5th rounder, right, for him. I think, if I'm not mistaken. Whatever it was.
No, it was a 6th. I'll double check for you,
because you can't go wrong. I'm with taking a chance there. But this is a guy that literally the Florida State, you know what I'm saying, undefeated, didn't get to go into the playoffs because he wasn't on the field. A very talented Florida State roster that kicked ass, you know what I'm saying? They dominated all year. Got undefeated. Got to the freaking playoff selection. Man, you don't have Jordan Travis. We're going to have to go ahead and bypass you and not let you into the freaking playoffs. That says a lot to me. And I think, I understand the individuals who look. I think Dom was one of the individuals. I think Tigo too. They did not like the kid. They really thought like he was too raw and he wouldn't really have a fit. The arm strength apparently is lacking. But I saw a guy that can make all the throws, man. I saw a guy that I think the arm strength thing is gotten blown out of proportion.
Me too. Because just going to say that.
Yeah, we've seen what incredible arm strength looks like. Zach Wilson cannon for an arm. It really didn't do much for him. Like you're hearing stuff not coming out of some camps with a guy like Drake May with a cannon for an arm. There's some concerns there. Like, can you play football or can't you play football? And he did it against top competition as well. I love Jordan Travis. I think he has the potential, in my opinion, to step in there a couple of years from now and shock us in terms of being able to go ahead and operate this offense. I'm not saying, I don't know if he's going to be a top 10, top 15 guy, but do I believe he can be a viable starter at the NFL level? I really do. I think he can be, and he might even be able to surprise us. What he can do with his legs, though, I believe is going to be what the difference-making aspect of whether or not he's a star in this league or just your everyday starter.
Yeah. Yeah, I love it. I'm actually trying to identify. It's like, you look at where are they throwing the ball the most, right? Now, arm strength is not just for bombs, and we know that, right? Arm strength is about the velocity of it's about how quick you can zip it in, right? Now, in addition to arm strength, you got to have touch. You got to know how hard to throw it. And we've had difficulty with that of late.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things, man. Like when, really the majority of a quarterback's work is 20 yards and in. That's the truth of it. Okay. That's what you need. He's got to have the arm strength for 20-yard passes and under. That's granted, if somebody's open, you want him to be able to hit him, and all that. But we saw with Chad Pennington, I'm not comparing Jordan Travis to Chad Pennington. Chad Pennington was a surgeon, but the arm strength thing, if they can work on, there's things about him, needing to build strength, core, arm, all that kind of, you have time to work on that. I believe it's the overall talent that I'm looking for. Just like you said, going for the arm strength thing solely, it's fool's gold, in my opinion, because you almost never need it. You do at times, but what you really need is a quarterback who's smart, with vision, and can hit the 15-yard passes. That's all you need, dude. That's all you really need. And I'm excited about him. But that said, I don't want to see us get to him this year. I think it would be terrible for him. His development,
I agree.
Terrible. He's not ready.
Yeah, I agree 100%. But I do love the kid, and I love what his ceiling can be. I know we got to ask the question on what do we think our comps are for him, because I did hear there were some comparisons to him being like a Jalen Hurts, and I don't think that's fair. I don't think he's on a Jalen Hurts type of tier. Not saying he couldn't be that in the future, but in terms of if you had to ask me today, like when I look at Jordan Travis play, who does he remind me of? I think he reminds me of Dak Prescott personally. I think Dak Prescott is the comp that I would give to a Jordan Travis, but I think he's more athletic than a Dak Prescott. And let's be honest, Dak Prescott can win games. Like he can win games. The guy did get paid. So again, an NFL starting caliber quarterback. But I think Jordan Travis, with his ability to go ahead and just do damage with his legs, that could elevate him into that star category. I'm not saying superstar. I'm not saying like elite player, but like in that star category because of what he can do with his legs.
Yeah, and let me correct myself. You were right. He's actually a 5th-round pick. So it's great. We had the 2 5ths. I remembered it backwards. I remembered that, like, I remember the movement and everything, but in my brain just now, I had it that we had the 2 6ths, but it was the 1 6 and the 2 5ths. Yeah, so my bad on that one. You were right. So our 5th-round picks were Jordan Travis and Isaiah Davis, 171 and 173 overall, respectively, of course. So anyway, I think not that I'm completely at ease with Aaron Rodgers, right? I'm not at ease, but I'm allowing myself to be excited, and I'm allowing myself to believe, because the team around him is sick, and you gotta go by the data, man. Last year was, who the hell gets hurt 4 plays into the season?
That's
unheard of. Has there ever been? I gotta look that up.
I looked. I couldn't find. I couldn't find a starting quarterback get hurt 4 plays into any season until last year.
I gotta see. Maybe Frankie can figure this out for us.
You know what? Frankie probably has somebody already at the hip ready to tell us, because I didn't find anybody.
The quarterback injury bug. So the New York Jets, Aaron Rodgers going down in team season opening drive. So he's definitely the earliest last year, but in history, ever. Let me see ever. Maybe Frankie knows. Maybe Frankie knows, man. Frankie knows. Frankie, tell us which quarterback went down earliest in the season? I mean, we're in the conversation at minimum. If I was a betting man and I had to put $1,000 on any quarterback going down earliest in the season, I would securely and comfortably place my $1,000 on Aaron Rodgers. I mean, you got 3 plays to beat him. That's it. Somebody would have to have gone down first play, second play, or third play of the entire season. It's crazy. I don't know. Anyway, man, I don't know. I feel like we're gonna watch Aaron Rodgers. This is our year, guys. I'm telling you. Now, it's funny. I said this the other night on the Tuesday show, but I had a big open house this week, Gunny. So we've been prepping for it for months. We had the state attorney general at my facility. We had the mayor, senators, all kinds of people at my facility. We're on all the news channels and everything. I was interviewed and all that stuff. I could show you guys an interview if you want to see it. I'm a different guy. You guys don't know. You guys don't know.
Frankie came through with, he says, Brocky McFragile. I think he's making that up. Got 3 plays in.
Brokey McFragile. Yeah. Frankie playing.
He made
games.
that up, right?
Gitmo, who is it?
That's a joke. All right, cool.
Definitely. There's nobody. If there's a quarterback named McFragile and anybody drafts him, they need to be fired.
I'm just saying, like, if anybody would know, Frankie would. So I'm sitting there like, I got to give him the benefit of a doubt until he gives me an LOL or something.
Yeah. But anyway, so look, the attorney general of the state of Virginia comes into my office, and I have a big Name It poster in my office, right? You know, he's smiling in his old Jets uniform, young man. And he goes, oh, I like going in people's offices and the pictures. There's always a story. He goes, what's the story with this one? And I said, oh, I don't know if you want to hear that one. I said, it's long and it's sad. He goes, oh, yeah? Well, what is it? I said, well, let me just say this. I've been a fan of that team for a diehard fan for 42 straight years, and that's the last great quarterback I've had. So you don't see that's from the 60s, man. Like, I wasn't even alive. And he goes, oh, yeah. He goes, he goes, what about happened to Aaron Rodgers? I said, he's going to be fine. This is our year. And he goes, oh, I bet you said that before. I said, I say it every year, man. But this year, I believe it.
This year, I believe it, though. I'm saying it with some gusto this year because I really believe it. It's not just me saying it out loud because I'm a fan. This is me being a connoisseur of football. And I'm like, yeah, this year it's different. It's different.
Yeah. And that's the funny thing with us. This year, it's different, everybody. I'm going to put a poll in there. How worried are you with about Aaron Rodgers, injury? Okay. I won't even say the word injury about Aaron. I got it though. Aaron Rodgers injury rumors. Okay. There you go. All right. Worried. Wait. Worried. Wait, let me do it today. Slightly terrified. Or not at all. There we go. There you go. That's the options. 3 options for you. Let us know what you guys think. I'm real curious to see how you guys feel about the Aaron Rodgers injury situation, which is no injury. Let's be clear here. There is no injury. All right. He just had dirty socks, sweaty socks, whatever was going on. That's
Rico
what was
the
really
pup says, are y'all talking about Blistergate?
Yeah, Blistergate, right?
Blistergate.
Oh, that's good. So another one, though, Malachi Corley, our 3rd round pick. Remember, we traded up to the first pick in the 3rd round to ensure that we got our guy, Robert Saleh, texted Joe Douglas the morning of that draft and said something to the effect of whatever it takes, right? He was talking about Malachi Corley. They wanted him. That was the guy they want. Now, our good buddy Alan Dodes, who's a beanbagger, always in the chats. I'm not sure if he's here tonight. I haven't seen him yet, but he made a really interesting comparison, Gunny. He said that he compares him to Marshawn Lynch, and everybody goes, "Get out of here! That's fucking beast mode." Well, they're the same height, and Marshawn Lynch is a measly 5 pounds heavier than Malachi Corley. And they have a similar style of aggressive violence. You know what I mean? So what do you think? I mean, like, what do you think? Do you think we might have now? Marshawn Lynch is a very high bar. We know that.
That is a huge bar.
But the build is the
receiver?
same. The aggression's the same. Why not? What do you think?
I mean, for a wide receiver, I would like a wide receiver to be able to run that angrily. Like Marshawn Lynch, man, they called the man beast mode, for crying out loud. This dude ate Skittles every time he freaking dominated people on the field. Like, I look at freaking Pete Carroll and I still call him an idiot to this day because on the 1 yard line, you have Marshawn Lynch back there and you decide to pass the freaking ball and give the freaking Patriots another freaking Super Bowl. I'll never forgive Pete Carroll for that. Just the dumbest play of all time, in my opinion.
Yep.
But Malachi Corley, if you want to compare him to a Marshawn Lynch, I'll say I love the physicality comparison, but Marshawn Lynch had bricks for hands, and he was a very stiff, more of a physical runner, right? The more and more I'm watching Malachi Corley, you're seeing more tape coming out on him in regards to how much he's taken this as seriously as he is to kind of like refine his craft. It's not just about his physicality. He wants to be a better route runner. Today you have him taking very, very aggressive notes in training camp to the point where Garrett Wilson's making fun of him because of how much detail he's putting into it. Malachi Corley wants to be an all-around wide receiver, and I actually like that comparison even more. Anquan Bolden, I think the Anquan Bolden was a really good one, but I think he's going to surprise a lot of people that he's not just that physical bull rush kind of guy, because I think he can do that very well, but I think the way he's trying to refine his craft as a route runner, we're going to go ahead and see him do some things that we weren't expecting in year one. So I'm excited for it. Now, I was kind of concerned whenever Aaron Rodgers said that was the wide receiver he wanted, and people started getting freaking out like, oh, man, did the Jets only pick him because Rodgers wanted him? But I talked myself out of that freaking nonsense when I realized that, he was the 4th wide receiver in terms of yards, receiving yards over the last couple of years in college football. After the top 3 that went, I think it was Malik Neighbors, MHJ, and brain fart real quick. He went to the Bears. We all wanted him. Having a moment. Dunze, thank you so much. Wow. So Dunze, he was 4th in terms of right behind those guys in terms of receiving yards. So the kid can do more. He can do more. And again, we're talking about him being our number 3, right? Some people say number 4, but I think he'll beat out Lazard for number 3 personally. But
I do too.
I think he's gonna do some damage, GreenBean. I really think he's gonna do some damage this year.
Yep. I think he's gonna be entrenched in the slot, and we're gonna use him often. That's what I think. Hopefully, I'm really hoping Mike Williams is healthy. Because I'll tell you what, having Garrett Wilson, Mike Williams, and Malachi Corley out there in 11 personnel is sick. I mean, dude, that's an amazingly dangerous wide receiver group, in my opinion. And let them focus on G-Dubs and Mike Williams. Let them. And just toss it to Corley.
Yep.
Now, what do you think? Corley went off the field, though, Gunny, with he got banged up. He walked off.
Yeah.
He came back, but he didn't practice. What do you make of that one?
Concerning, because we haven't heard anything about it to kind of like dismiss it from One Jets Drive. We got some tweets that said, yeah, the agent knows his friend and the friend said it's fine, it was no big deal, they were talking. So like I'm still waiting for them to kind of come out and say straight up like, yeah, he's good. But I mean, if it was serious, in my opinion, they wouldn't have walked him back out there, right, to go ahead and have him be walking around and watching practices. So I'm going to assume it was potentially a sprain, right? This is a guy who's been going probably a little harder than he's been accustomed to, trying to, again, refine his skill set because he wants to be a better all-around wide receiver. So I'm going to say potentially maybe it's a bit of a strain, right? He's a young kid. He'll be able to go ahead and bounce back just fine. But it did concern me a little bit that we haven't heard anything from One Jets Drive, like from the Jets, that Yeah, he just kind of tweaked it. No big deal. We pulled him off,
Yeah.
as a safety precaution. It's been 2 days now. We haven't heard anything. So I'm a little concerned about that. But I think it's something minor. I don't think they would have brought him back there, allowing him to walk on it and whatnot to watch the rest of practice if it was anything major.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'd like to hear something too, though. Either way, you know what I mean. You just want to know stuff, but
Yeah, 100%.
everybody seems to think it's kind of minor. But I don't know. I'm excited about Malachi Corley. I'm excited about the whole thing because Gunny brought it up before. Even with Tyrod Taylor, we're going to see different defenses than we've seen for the last 3 years. We've been playing essentially the same defensive look, for the most part, for 3 years.
Yep.
They just bet on the idea, make your quarterback beat us. And we don't have a quarterback that can do that. And every now and then put together a game and it would happen. And we'd go, yeah, 250 yards. We're back. You know what I mean? 250 and 2 touchdowns. And but for the most part, we saw the same thing. They're stacking the box and they let the quarterback try to play. They can't do that. You go ahead. Do it with Aaron Rodgers. He's going to make you pay time and time and time again. And I believe Tyrod Taylor would do the same thing. He'd be like, oh my God, you're giving me this look? No problem. G-Dub's going to fucking burn that dude. I'm going to hit him. I'm going to hit him over the top. He's got him. There's single coverage on the outside. I'm hitting them in 3 steps. That's what I'm doing. And we would do that all day until they back it up. And once you back it up, Breece Hall's going to feast. And that's the way it's going to be, man. Like, so having a real quarterback back there changes everything, guys. I know it sounds so simple, but the Jets, guys, we got to think about this. The Jets have never had, since Joe Namath, who was the first person to do it ever, but since that, we have not had a 4,000-yard quarterback, man.
Yeah.
We haven't had a quarterback. The most touchdowns we've ever seen in the air in a season is 31.
Ryan Fitzpatrick.
The most. We've never seen think about all the games you've gone to, all the Sunday afternoons and Monday nights you've carved out to watch Jets football. We've never seen a 32 touchdown season. Is that not brutal, Gunny? What the fuck?
That's rough.
I can't even believe it.
That's rough. Yeah, you put it like that. Like that's disgusting. The amount of time and effort and energy this fan base puts into this team, and we've never been rewarded. I mean, was it freaking it was Ryan Fitzpatrick, right? 31.
Yeah.
Was it Ryan?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's Ryan Fitzpatrick.
That's
makes it worse to me.
The lone journeyman was the guy that got us 31. That's rough, man. That's rough. But no, I think again, this is the year. I think 7. I think it's
let's see,
either 7 or 9. I want to say it's 7 though. But I mean, this is why I look at this team this year, right? And again, a lot of people, and I get it, Jets fans, it's scary to believe. I understand. Trust me, we're right there with you. It's terrifying to believe. But in all actuality, for anybody who's even saying like, oh, like we're not going to do too good because our coaches suck. Like, I got to ask you, how do you know your coaches suck? How do we know that coach? Well, I think Hackett, I won't argue with you there. But in terms of Coach Saleh, right? How do we know he freaking sucks? This is a guy who literally has won 7 games in the NFL with no quarterback, no offensive line, and has still been able to win against playoff caliber teams. That's our head coach. There's a guy who's been able to do that with no quarterback. What happened to Bill Belichick when he lost Tom Brady?
Right.
The greatest of all time became a freaking peasant. Like it just disappeared. The fact of the matter is you cannot win in this league without a quarterback. It's just not possible. He's done it he's been able to win with no quarterback 7 games against like high caliber teams. Like took freaking the Chiefs to the wire last year. If not for the freaking refs to go ahead and give them a hand, they lose that freaking game. So every single time I hear that, like, oh, well, the coaching sucks. But we don't know that. I'm not saying Saleh's a freaking top 5 or a top 3 coach, but I don't know that he sucks. I can't, with a straight face, tell you like he sucks because somehow, some way, that man has won 7 games with no quarterback, no offensive line in back-to-back seasons in the NFL, the National Football League. Yeah. So I have a lot of hope for this season, man. And again, yes, health is going to be the big factor. I'm concerned about that.
That's the big one.
But that's a factor for every freaking team, though, GreenBean. What happens
Yeah,
to the
but-
freaking Chiefs if Mahomes goes down?
Oh, yeah.
What happens
totally
to the Bills
different.
if Josh Allen goes down? Like it happens to every team. But I understand for us because we're the Jets, like we feel like the injury bug loves us. So it's higher.
Well, it does. And look, as much as I like this offseason, and I do, Tyron Smith, major injury history. Mike Williams, major recent injury history. 2 years in a row, 18 games missed in 2 years. Morgan Moses, not an injury history, but getting older and just had a surgery, right? AVT, major injury history. So it's like, I don't know. I mean, that's why I love the selection of Olu Fashanu. I just think it's so important, man. It's so important that if one of those guys go down, a player of his caliber comes in instead of somebody we're like, oh shit, I hope this kid can be. I want somebody who's a high pedigree, crazy talented, big and strong, to come in. I like Carter Warren. Right. We'll see what Max Mitchell ends up being. The interior, I'm a little less enamored with. Our starters got to stay healthy, man. I don't like Wes Schweitzer at all, by the way. I think he sucks balls.
I think McGovern comes back, though.
I mean, that'd be great.
First.
But here's what I think. I think undrafted free agent Brady Latham, if you guys haven't watched this guy, you got to watch him. As a matter of fact, we're going to do it. I'm going to show you guys some Brady Latham real quick, okay? I just want you guys to see something. I'm going to get a copyright thing for this.
Is that the kid out of Arkansas?
Yep. But I don't give a shit today. I mean, I care if my channel gets fucking banned again, but
yeah,
let's just show you. Here we go. This is just last year, okay? 6'5", 290 pounds. So what's up, King Lowski? I forgot to say hello to Dom C as well. Good to see Dom C as always, right? Lowski's here, Dom C's here. It's good to see you guys, man. Billy's in the house. I see you guys. Gitmo Bob. Adirondack is here. Ryder and Talents Pa. Lots of great people. Harlan's in the house. All right. You guys are the shit, man. So thanks for hanging out. We'll just watch. I just got to make this short, like an hour or so, okay? Because I don't want to get in trouble. No more than an hour, Gunny. Here we go. So, all right. Let me get it. So just watch this kid play, all right? I'm going to leave the sound off. That'll help. So here he is. Just watch him, okay? Crushed, okay? Watch how many dudes he puts on the ground. Watch how he plays through the whistle. Look at him. Fuck you. That's what he does all day. Oh, yeah? Watch this. What are you going to do? Come here. I'm gonna kill you. Watch this.
I thought he was a guard. Is he playing tackle?
He's playing tackle, but he's a guard. He plays both, but he's going to be a guard for us.
Okay.
In the NFL, no doubt. But look at his tenacity. Like, wait, out of bounds. I don't care. He pushes people. Watch him. Watch. Everybody goes to the ground. You see this kid? Look, you blocked that guy. And where are we going? Looking for work. Kill you.
He seems
right
so much bigger than everybody. How big is he again, GreenBean?
290. 6'5", though. He's tall. He's big.
Oh, okay.
Look at him. Everybody to the ground. Do you see it, guys? Look at him. This is not for undrafted free agent. Look, he doesn't stop. Fuck you.
Good motor.
Yeah. See that? This is my favorite one. This is it. Look, nobody for me. I love it. That's what we call it looking for work. There's nobody on the outside. I'm not just going to stand here. I'm going to find somebody to hit. Watch what he does. And he doesn't just pussyfoot around it. Look at this. Nobody. Fuck you. I love it, Gunny. So I'm telling you now, I see 3 undrafted free agents making the 53. Okay, now they might not suit up, right, every game. But I think Leonard Taylor is going to be defensive lineman number 9. Brady McGregor is going to be defensive lineman number 10. Brady Latham is going to push either Jake Hansen or Xavier Newman off the squad. That's what I'm telling you right now. This guy, there's no way that his tenacity, his motor, it's going to show up. It's going to rise past the second tier of guys that we have because I don't love them. I mean, are you confident with the depth that we have? The
No,
tackles,
in the interior
Carter
offensive
Warren,
line.
Max Mitchell, Olu.
Yeah, I'm
nice
okay with the
depth.
tackles.
Interior.
That's why I really hope that Connor McGovern is going to be a Jet after June 1st when we open up a little bit of cap space because the interior scares me. And I think it boils down to the whole aspect that AVT has not been healthy in back-to-back years, right? The guy, and we love him. We love AVT, but let's be honest. Now, he's injury prone. That's somebody we can legitimately say that cat's injury prone. So I would love to have another guy in the interior offensive line rotation for depth. I am not a fan of anybody we have behind our starters in the interior offensive line.
Yeah. And I believe he plays in the SEC, guys. So
yeah, it's Arkansas.
It's not like you're looking at the guys he's playing. I mean, he's 6'5", so he might look bigger, but he's playing in the SEC.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The fact that he didn't get drafted is crazy to me. And I think like if he was saying like maybe he's saying I want to stay at tackle, there's measurables there. His arms are small. True. There's a few things. But getting him as an undrafted free agent like Xavier Newman, with all due respect, I mean, he did a decent job for us coming in, first time ever playing center. He's just stuck him in there. He's never snapped before. And here he goes. He did a serviceable job. But it's like this guy has real talent. So I'm excited about it. I think it's going to be, I think that we have to make sure that the best guys play. The best guys make the team. No more baloney where you let good, like a Jason Pinnock go. You don't you find a way to keep that guy. I understand Tony Adams and they liked them. And clearly he started for us, but so he looks like he's going to develop into something nice. He's got that potential, but still, you got to keep guys. Xavier Newman, you can expose him all day long. He's not going anywhere. You can stick him on a practice squad. Brady Latham, I feel like teams might go, you know what? Let's go grab him. You know what I mean? If we cut him and try to stash him, I just think he's going to get grabbed. But anyway, and Connor McGovern, really, do you think that's a possibility for real, that we bring Connor McGovern back?
I mean, I think so. I think why hasn't he been picked up? And this is a guy who's proven to be a good quality depth piece in the interior offensive line. I think he's probably got a little handshake deal with the Jets already, just waiting for June 1st to come around for him to go ahead and officially sign. Otherwise, I can think of at least 7 teams right now that will be picking him up, and he might be the starter on a few of them.
Yeah, man. I'll tell you what. You know what's great about this year, Gunny? I was talking about this with Ryan Tuesday night. You know what's really great? Like we're arguing about guys, like and we'll bring up Tariq Cohen right now. Like so, we do the Jets running back, kick returner Tariq Cohen, who by the way but he was an All-Pro in 2018. So he's got crazy talent. He's got amazing hands. He had 70 catches out of the backfield. So he's got great hands, great vision, good returner, all that kind of stuff. Problem is he hasn't played since 2020 because of injuries. We're talking about a fractured tibia. We're talking about an Achilles. We're talking about an ACL, an MCL, and a hamstring, right? So the guy's been hurt. The talent's there, but he's been hurt. So people are saying, why, it's garbage. Right? Well, it's camp body, right? It's the perfect guy to take a flyer on, in my opinion. Like, and I said this a couple of times. I'll say it right now. There's really 2 kinds of guys you want to take flyers on late, for the bottom end of the roster. One is young athleticism, right? And you can add lunch pail to that. Just guys that their work ethic, right? They just bust their ass and work. But like youth, that kind of stuff. The other one is guys that have produced at a high NFL level and had a string of bad luck, right? So you bring them in. You bring him in and you see what he can do. And it also tells a guy like Izzy, look, you want to make the team, make the team. You know what I mean? You got to make the team. You're not being gifted anything. I know we drafted you last year. You got your mulligan. You're banged up a little bit early on and everything. You had to work on pass protection. You got to work on a few other things. We love your speed, but you got to make the team this year. That's great. Competition is always good. But here's the difference. This year, like when we were talking about it the other night, people were saying, why do we even waste our time with garbage like Tariq Cohen? It's like, okay, I hear you. But we're talking about way deep on the bottom of the roster. That's where Tariq Cohen is. That's where Izzy is. That's where even Brady Latham or Xavier Newman. Like these guys are 5 years ago, we're literally signing a guy like Tariq Cohen, and we're talking about why he can be a legitimate starter for us. You know what I mean? Remember, guys?
Yep, that's facts. We would have been finding every reason to hype this dude up.
Oh man, we'd be looking at highlights from 2018, baby. Look at his motor. Look at his moves, baby. That's
even if we get just 70% of that, he's gonna be a stud.
All we need is 70%. That's it. It's the truth.
Man.
We did it with every position on the field. And I'll throw out some names. Jahan Dotson. No, not Jahan Dotson, but Dobson, right? The first round pick. What about Rashad Perryman? Right?
Oh,
hoping this guy's gonna light the NFL on fire. Now he's a decent wide receiver. He's good. He's got his moments, but he's not gonna save your fucking franchise, man.
No,
not doing it. No. Right? How many times Elijah McGuire wouldn't be on the practice squad of this team. He was our starting run.
Well, think about it, GreenBean. We were so deprived of talent. We all said Michael Carter was going to be him. Like he's a dog.
Yeah.
Some of us were kind of agitated that we even wasted a second round pick on a running back when we had Michael Carter. Like that's how deprived of talent this fan base has been, man. When we were going to bat for Michael freaking Carter over Breece Hall. Like that was a thing. That actually happened. Right. But it's different now. Cohen, right now, like you said, he's a freaking, he's a throw-in signing right now, right? A camp body, so to speak. I don't think he makes a team. I don't think he makes a team. But if Izzy is sleeping and he might find himself on the outside looking in, then so be it. But I kind of like the fact that they didn't just, like you just said, just give him the position. Hey, you're going to be running back 4, right? Because everybody's competing. You got to fight for it. And Tariq Cohen is here specifically to push Izzy because that's the only spot he'd be able to go ahead and take in this running back room. What's up, Chaos?
Yeah. Jeremy in the house. Jeremy too busy these days being a therapist. Jeremy is fixing marriages and saving lives, everybody. I don't know if you knew that.
Doing that's that hero shit.
Jeremy is a bona fide therapist, Gunny. What do you think? His wife made a great joke. I'm going to say it here, Jeremy. I hope you don't hate me, but I didn't make it. His wife did. Shows how cool his wife is, by the way. She said that, like when people say I was talking to my therapist and blah, blah, blah. Lots of people have a therapist and they say, yeah, I met with my therapist and you go, oh, good. That's a good thing. There are people out there that when they say that, they're talking about funny. Like that's what they're saying. When they say I was talking to my therapist, talking about Jeremy. Can you believe it? I think that's a fucking great joke. Jeremy's wife is awesome. Yeah, Frankie's an ordained minister. A lot of people don't know that about Frankie. He's the minister of pain. That's what he is down there in Florida now. So, yeah, like Dano said here, I put it up before, but Schweitzer got to go. He's terrible. Mitchell was 2 in 2 games from last year that I reviewed this week. Mackay 2, but we ripped that scab off. Yeah, we did. I know. Well, Max Mitchell had himself a rough year last year. I don't know. He just did not look good, man. And it's a shame because he did look good his rookie year. Not great, but he looked like, okay, we got something.
He looked promising rookie year.
He's another one. You got to make the team. You got to make the team, man. That's my thought on the matter. Like, you can't keep everybody and you just keep bringing in talent. And if you can't make the team, you can't make the team, Gunny. You know what I'm saying? 100%. So let me ask you this. Speaking of making the team, you think Tariq Cohen makes a team?
No, I do not. I think ultimately the youth of what Izzy brings to the table and the speed that Izzy brings to the table is going to round out that running back room. I do believe Izzy's going to fall to RB4. I think freaking Braylon Allen and I think freaking wow. Not Stiggers. Stiggers is the cornerback. I think Braylon Allen and RB3 that we picked up is also going to outperform him. But no, I think Cohen is just Davis. Man, I'm tired, man. It's been a day. Isaiah Davis. Thank you, Rico. It's been one of those days. I think Cohen is pretty much here to go ahead and light a fire under Izzy's ass. I think, again, Izzy knows he's here to light a fire under his ass. But at the end of the day, I think Izzy's faster, he's younger, and I think he's going to take the next step necessary. Otherwise, otherwise it's him. He's the odd man out if he doesn't go ahead and step it up.
Yep, I feel the same way. Now, Saleh boasted about Tariq Cohen, and he's got the talent. I mean, again, guys, look at it. You know, I watched a whole bunch of his stuff the other day with the Beanbaggers, and we were like, I mean, look, he's clearly talented. I mean, he made it to an All-Pro. You know, he was selected as an All-Pro, but he hasn't played since 2020, and he hasn't really produced anything of real significance since 2019. So that's 5 years removed. Hey, who knows? You know, if he comes in and he's shot out of a cannon, but it's tough to bet on a guy like that. You let the youth go and you bet on a guy who's been injured for 5 straight years. You know, you might have him for 3 or 4 games and then he's gone and then you're asked out. It's like what we did, last year. Like you got rid of Bam Knight. Granted, he got injured for Detroit, but that is what it is. You know, who knows if he would have got injured here.
Right.
You let go of Bam Knight because you bring in Dalvin Cook. Dalvin Cook sucks. He's washed. And then you trade Michael Carter. And now you're looking at, you got Breece Hall and Izzy. You know what I mean? It's like all of a sudden we had this amazing running back room that we thought we were very high on it. And all of a sudden we got bare bones. God forbid Breece, something happens to him. We're toast. Now the season was toast, so it didn't matter so much.
I mean, at the end of the day, it would have been a wash. It would have washed out.
Yeah, let's see. So Rico checking. What's up, Rico? He said, you know what's interesting? Izzy is 215 pounds. And assuming he's RB4, he'll be the lightest running back on the roster. All beef, no breaks.
And he's fast, too. Izzy is fast. Actually, who's faster? Is Breece faster than Izzy?
I don't know.
I feel like Izzy, because Izzy was on the track team in college, too.
Let's see something.
Yeah, who's faster? Izzy or Breece? Who do y'all think it is? Y'all think Izzy's faster than Breece or Breece is faster than Izzy?
Let's see here. Breece Hall ran a 4.39 and is
at 224 pounds.
All right, hold on. Let me get Izzy's Raz here for you. Izzy Abanikanda. He ran a 4.39. So they ran the same. 4.39.
Wow.
They're exactly the same. Isn't that something? You talk about Izzy being a burner, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy. And Breece is just as fast.
Breece. Wow. I didn't know that. I did not. I would have sworn if you had maybe put money on it, I would have thought Izzy ran faster than Breece.
Yeah. So Izzy's, holy cow, 5'10", 216. Let me see. I got to get Breece's measurables again, for God's sakes. Breece Hall is 5'11", 217. They're the same player.
Hey, I thought Breece Hall was 220 something.
No, he's 217. Hey, think about that, dude. They are 1 pound difference, the exact same height.
The exact same
2 pound and 1 pound. The 1 pound difference, same exact 40 time, same height. And Breece is 10 times the player he is. You know what I mean?
Right? Like, that's the crazy part. Yeah, I'm with Red John on this one. I guess in the open field, Izzy doesn't look that fast, actually. That's a good thing. I don't know. We haven't seen it.
Horatio Hornblower says short burst Izzy, top speed Brees. Well,
Okay, there
maybe
we
that's
go.
what it is. Maybe that's what it is.
Man,
I know that's what Matt Ryder's saying it. Like Brees looks effortless to me. He really does.
Like he's gliding. It looks like he's freaking gliding when he hits freaking top speed. I'm like, is he trying? Is he even really putting in an effort? Then they clock him at like 22 miles per hour or something. And I'm like, damn, that boy was flying.
Yeah. So Sam Aiken with a super chat. Look at that. All right, man. It's been light tonight. That's okay. It's fine. But thank you, Sam. He says Izzy's issues are mostly coaching related. At what point do we start scrutinizing? Well, we fired him, Sam. We have a whole new running back coach. So I think at that point, that's a good point. It's a good time to do it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, when Michael Carter's screaming on the sideline in his coach's face, you know, I mean, I don't know. Brees looks like he's developing nicely. I mean, he was a stud,
but
anyway.
Yeah, that's the thing, though. Like, okay, so coaching really, in my opinion, only ever really matters when it comes to having to develop individuals. But some guy, Garrett Wilson, didn't need wide receiver coach to go ahead and teach Garrett Wilson to play football. Brees Hall obviously didn't need a running backs coach to teach him how to play football. Like, coaching only applies when you got somebody that's going to need some work. But every now and again, you get these studs that just come in here and just do what they do, which we've seen in Brees, we've seen in Garrett Wilson.
Yeah, well, position coaches, that is. Obviously, coaches that manage any side of the ball or the game itself. Yeah.
Of course.
But yeah, I mean, it's a great point, man. I mean, these guys have been, you know, coached their whole life. And now transitioning from college to the NFL, it's a different game and all that. And you can always improve, but you're right. I mean, if a guy is, you know, elite talent, I mean, what are you really showing them? You know what I mean? Really? Except for scheme, you know, understanding the, you know, the intricacies of the scheme, the blocking scheme, whatever's going on. That's where they come in. But yeah, you know, but a young guy like Izzy, he does need to be coached, in my opinion. And you know, look, what was his name? What was our running backs coach's name last year? I forget as soon as they leave. Ebron, maybe? What was his name? Frankie, what was his name? Somebody tell me his name. I think it was, I want to say Ebron.
I can see his face. I'm having a hard time.
Yeah, me too. I can see him.
Like, I see his face.
Embry. Thank you. Thank you,
Embry,
Frankie.
yeah.
Taylor Embry. So, you know, we got rid of him, Sam. So we're good, buddy. We're good. Thanks, hey Mitch. I see you. So yeah, man. I mean, you know, I think I'll tell you, you know, speaking of positional coaches, you know who I really like that they're actually back with us is Jefferson, Coach Jefferson, the wide receiver coach.
Yeah.
He danced around with different wide receivers coach. We had Miles Austin. He got in gambling trouble. We had whoever the hell we had last year. Jefferson, dude, he's a whole different brand of coach. He's vocal. He's passionate. He's animated. He's yelling and screaming. And he's coaching up constantly. That's the kind of guy that you want. And I'm so happy that he's back. There was a video that the Jets released a short while ago, and the only voice you heard was Jefferson yelling, "Come on now, come on!" It's like, you know, him and Middleton, like that. You know, strengthen the offense staff.
Middleton. I love Middleton, man. That's like, he's like my favorite offensive coach that we have in the building. I love Middleton.
How could you not love that guy, man? Shit, that guy's the goods. I'm so thirsty these days, Gunny. I think I gotta.
Yeah, I know.
Cool my.
I've been drinking water a lot too. I've been doing the same thing. You're drinking a lot of water. I feel like I'm thirsty now, and I had like a gallon of water already in the day. I'm parched. One of my kids.
So it's going to be interesting to see. So Frankie says that Taylor Embry is now the running back coach for a little team called the New England Patriots. Well, let's see how he does.
What a bum. What a bum. I hope he ruins them. That freaking bum.
Yeah, screw him, man. Now I hate him even more.
Now I hate his guts. Yeah,
that's right. He can screw himself. All right, so let's end the poll. We're going to end the poll that I put up earlier. How worried are you about this injury stuff with A-Rod? We'll see what everybody thinks. So here's what so how worried are you about Aaron Rodgers injury rumors? Not at all takes the cake with 50%. Terrified comes in second with 26%, and slightly 23%. So it's a nice, 50% say it's nothing. It's not much to do with nothing. but 26% said, I am freaking the hell out. I am freaking out, man. Matt Ryder said, well, the injury rumors, Matt. That's what it was. That's what I said there. So, and we know what it is. It's baloney. He was changing his socks, and at worst, they popped a blister. Which, by the way, a blister on the back of your heel sucks for real. All right. So maybe he said, look, trainer, I need you to tape this up. Like, I can't deal. It's killing me. You know, like it's one of those things like having a rock in your shoe. You get a rock in your shoe. You know, it feels like it's a huge boulder in your shoe. You take it out, a little tiny piece of sand. It hurts. It's like you got to get it out of there. You can't exist with it. So, you know, that's all it was. What else we got, Gunny? What other topic can we talk about that's going on? We're going to end the show at 9:30. I'm going to tell everybody my big news, and then we'll wrap it up. But what is there anything I missed that's going on? Oh, you're muted there, friend. I don't know what happened to you.
Sorry about that. I think we should discuss how the Jalen Waddle contract affects Garrett Wilson. I think Garrett Wilson is potentially the next wide receiver in the AFC East to go ahead and get the bag. And do we think he's going to get more or he's going to get less? Like, what do we think in terms of what Garrett Wilson might be looking at now that they've paid Waddle in the AFC East?
Well, let me ask you, what do you think? You think G-Dub's a $30 million man?
Honestly, if you told me we had to sign him today, I think we would pay him between that $25 and $28 million range. Well, we can't, obviously, in year 3. But next year, we can start looking at getting this man paid. And with Aaron Rodgers behind center, I think it ranges from that $30 million to $35 million of what he could potentially earn with this next year's worth of production. I do believe if you ask me today, what will Garrett Wilson be next year in terms of, and I hope they I think they need to go ahead and stagger these contracts over these next couple of years with these guys so they can go ahead and like kind of alter the cap hits. Garrett Wilson definitively and Sauce Gardner definitively are going to get the bag. I think you go ahead and you're going to make Garrett Wilson the highest paid wide receiver in the AFC East next season. That's what I think is going to happen.
Hey, I'll tell you what, if there's a guy to pay, like, let me ask you this. Priorities. You got Garrett Wilson, you got Breece Hall, you got Sauce. Who's your priority?
Sauce Gardner.
Yeah.
It's got to be
Sauce Gardner. Like Garrett Wilson's elite. Sauce Gardner is potentially the best.
I think he's him. I think you look at the positions too, right? I think it's significantly more difficult to find a shutdown corner like a Sauce Gardner in the NFL. There's not many of these guys. Like right now in the NFL, it's him and Patrick Surtain as the true shutdown corners in the league. But if you look around in terms of the wide receivers, there's a lot of guys you look at and you're like, man, you know, the wide receiver game, you're seeing these guys come out of college now and they can hit the ground running. So for me, I love Garrett Wilson. I hope we keep them both. I do. But if we've got to make a choice, and again, the financial ramifications of the NFL in today's era is a real deal. The cap thing is real. I'm going with Sauce Gardner. I think you keep that guy as a core component to this roster until he retires.
Yeah,
the guy was
I agree. Now, obviously, I know you agree with this. We want them both. You know, we want 100%. All three. You want to 100%. Keep these guys.
Yeah. Yep.
But I think I agree as much as like I might like, you know, if you have our favorite players, like I might like G-Dubs. Like if I had to pick one, I might give my nod to G-Dubs over Sauce because I love Garrett Wilson. I love Sauce too, to be clear.
Me too.
But Garrett Wilson, man, there's something about that guy.
I love his personality.
I love him.
He carries himself. Yep. I love the way he speaks to the fan base and like how he's just overall from top to bottom. Garrett Wilson he's the kind of guy you want to go ahead and have the face of your franchise and know like people will look at this franchise with respect. Love Garrett Wilson. I do 100%. I think if I'm being honest, it's between him and JJ. If you told me who my favorite player right now is as a New York Jet, it's between him and JJ.
Jermaine Johnson. Wow.
I love Jermaine Johnson.
Very nice.
I love his story. I love the fact that he had to fight for everything he's got. Like his story really resonates with me. I love a guy that doesn't know how to say die. So it's between GW and JJ for me in terms of my favorite New York Jets right now.
Agreed. I think that story is wonderful, and he's a stud. You know what I mean? I think he's just going to get better and better every year. Don't forget, Jets fans were talking seriously. Lots of Jets fans talking about trading Q after year 2. You know, we're nuts. I get it. You know, every time we get a good player, we want to just squeeze the value and get more play.
Yep. Let's get more draft picks out of them. Woo-hoo.
But you know, Jermaine Johnson from significantly, and he's going to continue to go upward. He's that guy. He's going to continue to work at his craft and get better and better and better. That's what I think. I love Jermaine Johnson. What a draft class that was, man. Truly. But I will say, I think Gunny's correct. Sadly, in some respects, especially when offense is so important. Talent pause, a great comment here. Where'd it go? Garrett is top 10. Brees is top 3. Sauce is number 1.
That's 100%.
I think that's pretty good. And I might even argue Garrett. You could argue Garrett can be a top 5. And I think he can. I mean, you look at his limitations with the quarterback play.
Like his stealing.
If he didn't have that, we're talking about a 1,500-yard season and a whole mess of touchdowns. Yeah. I think that's a pretty nice way to say it. Sauce, and at worst, he's number 2. At worst, you know.
And it's between him and Patrick Surtain. That's the conversation. That's it.
I'll tell you, Gunny. I fantasize. Sometimes I'm laying in bed at night and I get all hot and bothered. You know, I get all worked up and I'm thinking about if this fucking offense can score some points, this defense is going to be there's not going to be anything like it. Our defense, look what they've been doing with almost no help.
Yep.
I can't even take it.
I feel you on that, GreenBean.
Dude, if you can imagine the team playing with leads in the fourth quarter, that what the defensive line is going to do to quarterbacks and consequently what that's going to do for our cornerbacks. All kinds of errant passes and panicked balls fucking floating around, man. Oh, my God. I want to talk about Sauce Gardner getting picks.
I'm saying because you're gonna have to throw the ball. You're not gonna just go ahead and be able to run it down our throats or just check it down and let your freaking little fast guys do work. You're gonna have to play football and take shots at this freaking elite secondary. And then and only then will we start seeing Sauce Gardner turn around, make a few more of those picks, and really start bumping them numbers up. The Aaron Rodgers effect, people keep thinking just the offense, but I really believe it's not just that. We have not seen this defense operate at full capacity yet. Think about that. We've seen these guys literally rate out at a top 3 defense in the NFL the last couple of years, and they've been playing defense with their one arm behind their back, tied up.
Yeah, truly.
They've had no choice. I cannot wait to see these guys really get unleashed.
And we added 2 first-round picks to the defense this year. And 3 really if you Will McDonald. Like there are 3 first-round picks we haven't even seen. It's crazy. Crazy. Brian Bourne checking in. Thank you, Brian. He says, is Tariq Cohen more of a threat to Izzy or Gibbs? That's a great question, actually. That's actually a really good question. Yeah, but I would maintain it's Izzy, and I'll tell you why. Where the wide receiver room, while the top is very impressive, especially if Mike Williams is healthy, the truth is that Gibson is on an island himself. He's the only wide receiver we have with his skill set. Now, if you're talking about the kick return side of things, I think it pushes Gibson right out of the mix, in my opinion. If Tariq Cohen's on the squad and he's healthy, he's going to be the guy. Man, he's going to be the guy returning kicks. Yep. No question in my mind. But Gibson would still have a spot on the roster. If you have to take the spot, having Braylon Allen, having Isaiah Davis, you got 3 young running backs still. I say it's probably Izzy. What do you think, Gunny? You think Gibson is a little bit safer, or do you think it goes the other way?
I think Gibson's a little bit safer. I really think it's Izzy because, again, the running back room right now, as it currently stands, I think is stacked, right? Last year we carried 3. You're talking about 4 right now in that running back room. So, 5 if you incorporate Coleman. There's no way they're carrying 5. running backs into the season.
No way.
Or 4 for that matter. I think 4 would be the maximum. So if Cohen is here to take anybody's job, in my opinion, I think it's Izzy's. I think Gibson is kind of safe. They seem to really like him in his progression right now as a wide receiver. They're talking about him as if he's made some pretty legitimate steps. Predominantly a slot guy. I think that's going to be his niche at the next level, but I don't see him taking a lot of snaps away from a Malachi Corley. So again, he's falling down the depth chart as well, but I still believe in terms of the wide receivers. I don't think we have as much strength in the wide receiver room as we do in the running back room. So I believe Izzy is competing for his job.
Yeah, I think so too. That's a great question, Brian, but I think that's the truth of it. Dano checking in. You know what is I say I'm gonna bounce, but and then everybody starts getting.
And they're like, throw money at him, and keep him here.
I love you guys. He says, who has more all-purpose yards after week 1, Brees or Christian McCaffrey? You know what? You look at last year, that one drive we had, right, where you hand the ball off to Brees to the left side and he pops it off for 20-something yards. I mean, it's real hard to say not say Christian McCaffrey because he's such a focal point of what they do over there. And he's such a stud. I mean, he had like 1,800 all-purpose yards last year. But I don't know. I'll say Brees. What do you think? Well, we're gonna be fucking going head to head. So
yeah, that I say it's gonna be Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah, it's hard not to.
I think, it's difficult, man. I honestly believe he is the number 1 running back in football. Brees is nipping at his heels, but that dude is a dog. So I'm going to say CMC, and I think it's primarily because Aaron Rodgers is going to go ahead and try to keep the defenses on their heels and whatnot and utilize all of his playmakers at his disposal. I'm going to go with CMC gets used a lot, especially since we already know the question mark when it comes to this Jets defense is stopping the run. They kind of know our secondary is top tier, so I think they're going to go ahead and utilize him a lot. Some screen passes in the rushing attack. I think, CMC by quite a bit, if I'm being honest.
Yep, I'm right there. Mr. Forte checking in. Thank you, sir. He says Sauce is generational as far as size and skill set.
That's facts.
But G-Dubs is generational as far as mindset. Skills pay bills, unfortunately. Thing is, I think I like what you're saying. I think it's a great point. But I would say Garrett Wilson also has those skills. He's had Sauce's play is not predicated. Like his impact is not predicated on another player. You know what I mean? Like he doesn't, even if the quarterback doesn't throw it his way, that's a positive for Sauce. You know what I mean?
That's a good point, yeah.
But I'm with you, man. Sauce's size and the way he can move and respond and rebound and his closing speed, all those kinds. It's unbelievable.
It defies. Yeah, it defies logic. It doesn't make sense, but he can do it.
But G-Dubs, take a second and remember, G-Dubs getting the ball in his hands and making 4 or 5 players miss in the open field. I mean, he is as jukey as the best running back in the world. And it's like he's truly special. I agree with the point. But I think Garrett Wilson, we haven't even seen Garrett Wilson yet, in my opinion.
That's the thing. That thing you said it perfectly. I think with Garrett Wilson, we've seen his floor.
Go on.
This is all we know. All we know of Garrett Wilson is his floor. This is what we've been seeing over the last couple of years. 1,000-yard wide receiver.
Yeah.
That's going to be good for 4 to 5 touchdowns. That is his floor. That's all we've seen. So I am very curious to see what this kid can really do with an NFL quarterback.
That's a great point, man. I mean, think about it. Garrett Wilson's floor, he's the very rare back-to-back 1,000-yard season for a Jets wide receiver. That's his floor.
Quarterback proof.
I love it.
He's quarterback.
Yeah,
proof.
I like it. Not that I don't agree with you, Mr. Forte, because I think Sauce is truly special. Sam Aiken checking in with the 10 spot. Thank you, Sam. Has JD's drafting style changed your opinion on how you value certain positions? No. JD is the first GM we've had in a long time that actually did it the way I've been fucking yelling for the Jets to do it for decades. I mean, you gotta value certain positions, man. Yeah. Now, not to say that there's not a player that comes out from time to time at other positions, that you won't take a first round pick and grab him. Like you guys remember, I was big on Kyle Hamilton. Now Kyle Hamilton's everything that we thought he was going to be. Now I very happy that they chose Sauce. I'm delighted, but Kyle Hamilton's a stud. Now, so he's a safety. So do you do that? Joe Douglas doesn't look like he has any interest in using first round picks on safeties, and I'm fine with that. But again, I've been yelling for the Jets, and I'm not alone. Many of us have been saying to the Jets, stop taking defensive tackles in the first round. Stop taking safeties in the first round. And that's what we did remember that? For so long. Safeties and defensive tackles in the first round. Fucking Rex Ryan with Idzik, they bypassed in the deepest wide receiver draft ever up to that point, or one of ever. And we needed a wide receiver desperately. They passed on Brandon Cooks and a bunch of others for, what the hell is his name again? Calvin Pryor. Fucking safety. Like it's safety. It's just the craziest thing in the world. So Joe Douglas is actually the first GM in a long time, if not ever, that values the positions correctly. That's the way I see it, man. I think that it's nice to see. Now, I haven't loved every pick, right? I did not like the Will McDonald pick as much as I've been screaming for a good edge rusher for a long time. We were good. We were good there. We used a first round pick the year before. We had needs, and there were guys there. Again, I was a big Anton Harrison fan. I was like, dude, that's the guy. Just take the tackle. Nope. We grabbed the defensive end, and I thought it was stupid. Now, that's not to say that he's not going to be great and we're not going to love him, but for the team last year, we didn't need that. And so there are picks I don't like, but overall, the philosophy aligns with what I think should have been done for a long time. What do you think, Gunny?
No, 100%. I think in terms of the thought process and the mindset of utilizing those premium picks on premium positions, I love it. Right. Last year, I think one reason why a lot of us that weren't on Team Bowers really felt comfortable about him not doing that was because we've seen him follow that trajectory of the value of the position. Again, a top 10 pick at tight end to me would have been insane. I know some people convince themselves that, he's not a tight end, he's a weapon, and that's all good. But no, I think he's been pretty consistent and constant. I think that the biggest fault is we look at some of the picks he has made, and they unfortunately weren't successes, right? You've got your Mekhi Bectons, you've got your freaking Zach Wilson. Like in those time frames when he made those picks, the pick was right. We needed quarterback. We needed offensive line. They were the right pick. He was using those valuable picks to get the right guys. Unfortunately, those guys didn't work out. I'm with you. The Will McDonald one, definitely. I think we were all live when they picked it. That was one that I'm hoping this dude lights it up this coming year, and we're like, man, great job, freaking Joe. But I felt like at this point I didn't want JSN, but JSN was still there. Imagine if we had him right now on the roster as well. Like there were some guys I was just like, man, we missed on that one. But I digress. I don't think he's changed his style. I think he's been pretty consistent in terms of valuing those premium picks for positions that, again, you're going to pay a bunch of money for if you got to bring in a free agent. Let's get these guys early, and hopefully, you're hitting with them. So, I don't think he's changed much.
Right. I'm right there. So thank you, Sam. Jason Edwards checking in. The idea of a three-headed monster with Garrett Wilson, A-Rod, and Brees all season is unreal. 24 points a game will get us the whole lot of wins. Yeah, Jeremy put a comment in there. He said two things, Jason. He said, score more than 23 points and win the time of possession. Then we're 12-5 without a bat and an eyelash. And I agree. That's
He's
it.
not wrong. Yeah, he's not wrong.
That's all we need to do. I mean, and we're talking about dominance from that point. Dominance. And I love the idea that, the fact that this team already having Brees adds Braylon Allen, Isaiah Davis, and Malachi Corley. Like, it's an attitude thing, dude. It's an attitude thing. It's a punishing. We're switching gears, and we've decided to beat the living hell out of everybody. And that's my kind of football. I miss it. I crave it, and I'm excited about it. So thank you, Jason. Edward Ziff checking in. You going to Panthers join? No, I'm not near Charlotte. Well, you know what's funny? I'm actually going to Charlotte in the near future, but I'm going. You know what I'm doing? I'm going to see a concert. Listen to this concert lineup. It's crazy. It's a bunch of old fogies, but it's crazy. I can't pass it up. I'm going to see Willie Nelson, John Mellencamp, Bob Dylan, and Alison Krauss with Robert Plant. So Robert Plant, John Mellencamp, Bob Dylan, and Willie Nelson on the same bill. I can't pass it up. So we're me and my wife and kids, we're taking the kids down there to see that in Charlotte, and we're going to Carowinds to ride one of the tallest coasters in the entire world, Fury 325, and a bunch of other places, a bunch of other coasters. So we're going to do that. I'm actually going to Dollywood this next week. We're going on a vacation starting Sunday. I am psyched about that.
Like
but no, so I won't be going to that one. What's that?
Sounds like a very good weekend you got going on.
I got a whole bunch of exciting stuff coming, but I don't think I'm gonna make it to that one, Ed. You know what? I got to check the date on it. Maybe I do. I'm like 4 hours from Charlotte, so
that's not too crazy.
It's not close, but it's not terrible, and it's a much easier ride. Let me tell you, heading south to Charlotte is totally different than heading north to fucking Jersey. Let me tell you, man, it's a whole different thing. There's no DC, there's no Baltimore, there's no Jersey, so it's just country roads, man. It's just nice and easy the whole way down. But with that, let me tell you guys something. I'm going to tell you. So this will be the last Thursday thick of it for a while. Okay. It's actually going to be the last video for a while. I am taking a month off, Gunny.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I'm taking it might end up being closer to 3 weeks, but either way, 3 or 4 weeks.
News to me.
Yeah. Yeah. I know. I didn't tell Gunny yet, everybody. I'm telling everybody at the same time. When is a trip to Charlotte? I don't even know. I got to ask my wife. Jeremy, I really don't make my own plans, dude. You know what I mean? I'm in on it, but I'm like, whenever my wife's like, oh, by the way, next week we're going, I'm like, okay, that's my life. So I got to look at the dates. It could be, I don't know. But anyway, yeah, so this will be the final Thursday thick of it for a while. I'm not going to put out any podcasts for a minute. If something big happens, I might jump in. But this is the time to do it. I need a break. I'm fried. I'm like truly fried. I'm working. You know, I'm up at 5 a.m. I do shows till 10 p.m. Like I need a break. So I'll miss everything. Even the beanbaggers, I'm not doing that for a month. So I'm cleaning my slate, man. I'm going to be going to bed at 7 p.m. guys, which I'm not even kidding. I'm going to be like coming home from work, watching fucking Master Chef with my daughter for an hour, and I'll be sleeping by 7. That's it.
That's
man.
not a bad gig. That's not a bad gig at all.
Do. I'll be bored in a week. You'll see. But I'll be like, oh, what is this crap? But yeah, man, that's the way it's gonna go. So I'll see you guys in a month or so. I'll put out the official date. I have it somewhere, but I could look right now. Let me see what this is all. Oops, wrong button, everybody. Let me see what we got here. So today is May 30th. So 1, 2, 3, 4. We're looking at like June 27th. Yeah, so a little bit less than a month. Like June 27th, I'll come back. We got to have enough time to gear up for training camp and everything else. June 27th, I think, will be the date. Okay, everybody? So I love you guys. I will miss you. Yeah, withdraw Tony GM, the withdrawals. Yeah, Sean, I've seen Willie Nelson too. I saw Dwight Yoakam open up for him. My friend was really good friends with the guitarist and Dwight Yoakam, so I got to hang backstage with all those guys and shit. It was super. No, I didn't get on Willie's bus, but yeah, Willie's the shit. He's a shell of his former self, of course, but it's just great to see him. And the songs are great, and the band's great. Robert Plant, I've seen a bunch of times, but never with Alison Krauss. I'm excited about that. I actually dig that shit. So it's going to be great, man. It's going to be great. Harlan, see me. It's going to be a great show. I mean, I have no way. I'm not going. I know what I'm going to see. You know what I mean? I've never seen Dylan though, and I love Bob Dylan, so I've never seen him. So that's going to be a good one. That's it. So thank you, everybody. Yeah, thank you for all the nice comments. Have fun. Be safe. Take care. Enjoy. Thank you, guys. You guys are the best. And for Gunny and myself, that will be it for tonight. And yeah, so everybody have a good night.
You rest up, GreenBean, and I'll see you in a few weeks, brother.
There you go. Guys, with that all said, Don't forget to hit the like button on your way out. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And don't forget to support Gunny. The link is in the description of this video. You can find New York Jets Situation Report, Gunny's channel. He's rocking it, and he's the best, man. So don't forget to support Gunny. And with that all said, we will see you next time, everybody.
Yeah, here we come, baby. Here we come. Here come the Jets, man.
I want to kiss you.
Thanks, Joe.
You want to run or you want to duck down? You want to duck, just go over and get onto the bench and stay there.
You play to win the game.
My message for the fans, we're all frustrated with where we are right now.
Jets, Jets, Jets.